In September 2025, Nvidia announced it would put $100 billion into OpenAI. OpenAI is going to spend a lot of that money buying chips from Nvidia. So Nvidia gave OpenAI the money to buy Nvidia's stuff. The money did a full lap and came home. And on the day they announced it, the stock went up. That stock is Nvidia, now the most valuable company in the world that has ever existed, the poster child for the biggest boom the market has ever seen, artificial intelligence. But this isn't really a video about Nvidia, it's about the whole AI boom, the biggest in market history, and a simple question hiding inside it. Is any of this growth real? Or is it just the same money going round in a circle, looking bigger every lap? Now, one weird deal doesn't make a video. The interesting part is it's not one deal, it's the shape of the whole industry. Start with Nvidia and the OpenAI deal. Up to $100 billion tied to OpenAI building 10 gigawatts of data centers filled with Nvidia chips. Quick honesty note, that $100 billion isn't signed, it's a letter of intent. Nvidia's own finance chief said, months later, there still wasn't a definitive agreement. Then there's OpenAI and CoreWeave, a company that rents out computing power. OpenAI promised to buy $22.4 billion of compute from them. And then OpenAI also bought $350 million of CoreWeave stock. So the customer now owns a slice of its own supplier. If you're starting to lose track of who's paying whom, good. The confusion is the whole point. Amazon put up to $8 billion into Anthropic, and Anthropic runs on Amazon's cloud. Nvidia put $2 billion into xAI through a fund that then buys Nvidia chips and leases them back. It's the financial version of a snake eating its own tail, a very well-fed, extremely well-funded snake. Every arrow is real, but notice the pattern. The supplier funds the customer, and the customer spends it back on the supplier. The stock goes up and up, while the money just goes round in a circle. And if any of those companies happen to be listening, I'll happily take a few billion to invest in my channel, and I promise to spend all on GPUs and host everything on your cloud. Sounds ridiculous, doesn't it? But that's generally how it works. The chip maker's own boss says everyone is free to shop around. Just there's nowhere else to shop. So far, the circle has just been money on a screen. But a money go-round has to spend on something real. And this one has developed an appetite. It started eating the physical world. All those chips need electricity, a staggering amount. The people who count the world's energy, the IEA, project that by 2030 data centers will burn through about 940 terawatt hours a year, roughly double today, and about as much electricity as the entire country of Japan. A fad doesn't need its own power stations, so the circle went shopping for some. Microsoft is restarting 3 Mile Island, yes, that 3 Mile Island, to power its AI. Google, Amazon and Meta have signed deals for whole fleets of new nuclear reactors, most of which won't switch on until the 2030s. Let that sink in. We build a machine to help you write emails that liked cats, and it turned out to need its own nuclear program. Single buildings are now designed to pull 1-2 gigawatts, a full power station's worth of electricity, for one shed full of chips. And when Earth starts running low on room and power, they look up. And this isn't a bit. One company has already flown a single AI chip into orbit as a test. Elon Musk says that within a couple of years, the cheapest place on Earth to build AI won't be on Earth. They will be launching soon, but this is based on Elon timeline. Google's prototyping it. Jeff Bezos reckons gigawatt data centers in space within 20 years. So the machine that likes cats and finishes your sentences now needs a power grid and a space program. Somewhere, a caveman who invented fire is feeling much better about himself. Now, honesty check, because this is the fun part. In space, right now, there is exactly one chip. The reactors are mostly still on paper. That is a lot of slides and press releases. But of course, that's the way all these things start. The circle looks bigger every lap, not just because the circular funding and increasing values, but also because it is getting bigger. It's now reaching for nuclear plants and outer space just to keep feeding itself, which is either proof the demand is deadly serious, or proof of how much has been promised before any tangible profit shows up. Both can be true. Here's why this matters to you, even though you've never bought a tech stock in your life, potentially. In October 2025, Nvidia became the first company ever worth $5 trillion. To put that in scale, that's about 16% of the entire US economy in one company. That's worth more than the entire economy of England, or France, or India, for a company that, at its heart, makes very small rectangles that are very, very good at multiplication. And it's not alone. By late 2025, AI-linked companies made up an estimated 45% of the entire S&P 500, nearly half the index riding on one story. Those AI stocks were priced about 31 times their expected earnings. The rest of the market, 19. People were paying a serious premium for the future. Now, a stock price isn't money in the bank, it's a vote on what people expect will happen. And here's the uncomfortable bit. If some of the demand in this industry is the same dollars going round in the circle, then some of the growth that's pushing those prices up is the circle admiring itself. The balloon gets bigger, but check where the air is coming from. And that's the whole question of this video. Do the numbers add up, or is the bubble inflating itself? Now, I want to be fair and give the opposing argument its due, because there is a genuinely good argument that all of this is fine. Let me make that case as well as I can. I know you clicked the video called the AI bubble, and now the host is defending it. Give me 2 minutes, I'll pick the hat back up. First, the people who actually model bubbles for a living looked at this, and they said it isn't one. Not yet. One research group ran the numbers and found AI stocks aren't behaving like the dot-com bubble did. The prices aren't spiraling. Statistically, the runaway pattern just isn't there. In fact, the AI rally so far is about 40 percentage points smaller than the early internet boom. This looks less like the year 2000 and more like 1996 early. Second, the circle isn't a circle at all. Maybe it's just a supply chain. Nvidia sells chips to OpenAI. OpenAI sells AI to real companies, banks, car makers, Microsoft, who pay real money. That money buys more chips. Outside cash really does come. And it's not nothing. OpenAI says 700 million people use it every week, on the order of $12 billion a year coming in. That's real traction. Even the boss admits investors are overexcited, but overexcited isn't the same as wrong. And my only caveat to this is just because the AI stocks aren't behaving like a previous bubble doesn't mean that it isn't one, just that it has a different pattern. The technology is real, therefore the stock is safe. Maybe. There's just one problem with this. We've run the exact experiment before, and the name was Cisco. In the year 2000, Cisco was the most valuable company in the world. It made the plumbing of the internet. Over 70% of it. The internet was real. Cisco was real. The revolution was real. Then the stock fell 88%. That's 88%. And here's the part that should keep you up at night. Cisco, the business, was fine. It kept growing. Sales doubled over the next 20 years. The company was real, and it grew. And the stock still never got back to where it was. Being real did not save the people who bought at the top. Sleep well. So picture 2035, the technology won. AI is in everything. Your car, your doctor, your fridge. And it's entirely possible the technology won. And a lot of the money still lost. Because the circle only holds while every single company in it can keep paying. Or even the AI takes over. And then what are the shares worth? But there's a darker version, and it's the one that actually keeps me up. Right now, the price of nearly every AI company assumes the same thing, that it will be one of the winners. That's what 31 times earnings is paying for. A seat at the table with lots of chairs. But what if AI is winner take all? What if one company gets there first? The best model, the most users, the deepest moat, and everyone else is just second or last. Then the losing bets don't fall one at a time, they fall together. Every valuation that priced on will win too corrects in the same week. And every circular deal propping these companies up unwinds at once. Here's the twist that makes your head hurt. The technology succeeding, one company actually cracking it, could be the exact thing that pops the bubble for everyone else. And this isn't just me in a room with a hat. The investor who called the 2008 crash, Michael Burry, is betting real money against parts of this, pointing at the same circular deals and how these firms value their chips. To be fair, and I always try to be, serious people disagree. Even now, stretched as they are, AI prices are nowhere near the pure madness of 2000. So maybe it holds, but at least know what you're really betting on. It isn't does AI work, it's does my company win, because they all can't. There's a children's party game that explains the whole AI economy. Musical chairs, sort of. Because in the version you played as a kid, the chairs leave one at a time. You lose slowly, one player per round. This game doesn't work like that. Here, everyone strolls around the circle, relaxed, certain they'll get a seat. Plenty of chairs, plenty of confidence. What nobody's told them is the moment the music stops, all but one chair disappears at the same instant. It's the same confidence and belief you have in musical chairs, and it's the belief that keeps the whole circle spinning. And most of the circle is betting on a chair that was never there. And before you decide this has nothing to do with you, remember that 45% number, nearly half the market. You might not own a single AI stock, you might own hundreds or thousands. But if you've got a pension, you're already a player. Go check what's in it. The internet was real. That didn't save anyone who bought at the top.